Hey everybody, it's Erin Reed from Erin Reed Makes, and welcome back to my card making Wednesday. So today we're going to make a really cool card. I have to show you, it's so much fun. It's a stand-up card. So this actually stands, which is so adorable, and it's got a little peekaboo. Plus you can also put some information on the back. So we're going to call this a standing table card. Yeah, there we go. Standing table card with a little peekaboo floating circle with some foil accents on the inside. All right, let's get started. That was the wrong intro. This is the real intro. Okay, so before I get too far, I just want to show off, I got some really cool shirts. So down the information, if you're watching me on YouTube only, you can get these shirts. These are super cute. These are little merch shirts I got, and it says just create. I love the fact that I just tell people, go out there, just create. And this one is just a standard tee on black. And there is a ton of different styles and a ton of different colors that you can pick from. And they all say just create. So if you're interested in them, head on down and click on that because I think they're cute. I love them. All right, let's get card making. Okay, so what we have here is a super cute little card. So this is let me find the center here. This is a standing card, so meaning that it can stand, right? So it's kind of like this little box card. It's a standing box card, and it can fit into an A2 size envelope, so it can totally fit flat. But we're not only going to create this, but as we're creating this, we are also going to create 3 other cards from the leftover remnants for the backgrounds. So this is kind of a 3-in-1 card. Hello, Karen. So all the bits and pieces that we use to make the background, we're going to use to create 2 additional cards. Plus, I'm going to show you how to recreate this one. It's so much fun. Okay, so look how adorable. I love that. Okay, and it's a little pop-up and he floats. He's so cute. So what we have started with is I have 2 different sets of dies. The first one is all the mechanics for doing the little bear, right? And all the sentiments for the bear and the feeling hot. And on the back, we have our little sentiments here. So we'll come back to that later. And these are all from Maker's Movement. And you guys know all the supplies are always linked down below. But the first thing we need to create is the background part. So what I have done is I have gone in my stash and I have picked out 3 colors of what I would call ocean colors, right? Something that is very, oh, spring, Texas. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Sandy. Hello, June. Hello, Karen. So we have some some oceany colors. And I loved going from a lighter to a darker, like you're in the ocean, like you're getting deeper and deeper water. And then what I have here is I had a set of 3 dies, and there's actually a 4th one. So here's a little 4th guy. And these ones are, I can't remember. Oh, here it is. Also from Maker's Movement, they're Wacky Waves Die Set. So you get a whole bunch of different types of waves. So here's, you can see one that's a little, some of them are a little bit tighter waves, a really open wave, a really loose wave, and then a really, really tight wave. So I mixed and matched all these dies. So how are you going to cut them? Let's put that there. So the first layer, which is this layer, you leave alone, which is our sand. We don't touch that, okay? So that goes off to the side. The second one, the 3rd one, and the 4th one, this is how I did this. I took my bottom layer and I went, okay, I'm going to place this on top. Now, where do I want to cut it? Okay, right about there. All right, now I want to make sure that I layer my next one a little bit higher to get the layers, right? So I took the next piece, and so I taped that down. Took the next piece, put that down, and I made sure it was a little bit higher. And I kind of went in a little bit of an angle. I didn't go purely straight across, you know, kind of like he's, or she, the bear is laying somewhere off to the side. Then we have our 3rd layer. And again, it's a little bit higher. And if I didn't like, I'm like, ooh, that's not quite where I want it. Then I can go through, and it's just washi tape. And I can go, I want it there. That's about right. I like that distance. I want a little bit more of seeing the center color. Now, here was the key thing, and I made a boo-boo on this. And this is for any die that might have a stitched edge. So I don't know if you guys can see that stitched edge on there, but these are stitched edge on here. I think you can kind of see a little bit of stitching there. So when you're die cutting, one side is going to have the stitching and the other side won't. But I'm not keeping the bottom, I'm keeping the top. We're going to use the bottom for a secondary spin-off card, like a leftovers card. They're still super cute. So what am I going to do? How do I make sure that I get the stitching? I just need to make sure I orientate my die so it's facing the right direction. So random chance, I figured out when I'm looking at the die, there's a straight line and there's a stitched line. So when I'm putting this on here, I made sure my straight line was facing down. It was at the bottom. So every time I put a new one on, I just made sure straight line on the bottom, straight line on the bottom, and therefore the bottom is going to have all the stitching, which is what I want. The top is going to have the stitching. The part that I'm keeping the top. because I didn't want to have it be plain. If you want it plain, leave it plain. It's kind of up to you. There's no right, wrong way to do that. Okay, I got to pull out the big die cutting machine now because there's a lot of die cutting in this. And I got to cut some big stuff. I'm going to pull out the big guy here. This is my crossover 2. I love it because it's a little bit heavy, but it folds up and it stores great. Then I open this guy up and let me get my plates. All right. I always use a metal plate on the bottom just because it gives me a little bit more of a tooth to cut through. And that's going to become really, really important here in a minute when we are cutting. I'm only going to do 2. It gets too squishy. When we're going to cut the big circle, because we got to cut through all these layers of paper. All right. Cut these through. I know I normally die cut most of the stuff for you guys ahead of time, but this one, part of understanding how to build the card is you have to understand how to set up the die cuts. All right, so now we're going to do that one. Here we go. And we have to build the front of the card first before you can do all the rest of the card. So this is kind of in layers here. Lots of techniques happening with this little fun card. Okay, so now we have, let's put that back off to the side. We're just going to shove it right there, and I can grab it real fast. So now we have our 3 pieces, right? And then we have our 4th one, which we didn't do. So I'm going to pull this off, and as you can see, we have our little stitching. So we have our wave, and then we have this really cute piece. And depending on how good your washi tape is, mine is starting to really tick me off because it's doing this number. So when I'm going to use it again, which we're going to use that other piece, I'm just going to flip it and use the other side. So I've been very careful to whatever I don't want. Hopefully this comes off clean. I need to get a different washi tape. I think there is kind of a lifespan to washi on how well it like sticks or not sticks. And because I'm die cutting a lot with it, it seems to be pulling, or maybe it's just this particular paper. I don't have any names or anything for this particular paper because it's kind of a hodgepodge. I just went into my cardstock stash and found 3 colors that worked. So there you go. So these are the leftover bits, which we're going to use in a minute. I'm going to show you how to use those. And so now it's time to build. I'm going to put the lower card, the longest one. So the color that would be closest to shore, which is the lightest color. And we're going to stick that down. And I want to make sure I see my stitching, which you can see on both sides. So it's kind of cool. Now, here's the key thing. Because we're die cutting a circle out of this, just to show you again, we're cutting a circle out of this. You want to make sure that you get all the way to the edges. And you can always go back and fix this, but really make sure you go into the edges. And then do a nice kind of crisscross in the center because look how cool this is when it gets die cut out. And we're going to use this too. So again, 3-in-1 card. A 3-in-1 card. Not only are you cool at creating this really fun card on the top, which if you don't want to do all this mess in creating, you could totally use a really pretty patterned paper right here and it would look stunning as well. You don't have to do this extra step like I'm doing. And then we're going to, yeah, this side. Trying to see which side looks prettier. And then line it up. So line it up. Oh, I'm just doing my standard thing. Really go to the edges. This one's different. You have to go a little bit more detailed with making sure you get to all the bits. Otherwise, they're going to kind of pull off. And then stitch this one down. So now we're creating our layers. Doesn't it look like the ocean? Looks just like the ocean, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think? And then the deepest part of the ocean. Look how pretty that looks. I love these colors together. So pretty. All right, get in there. Get all the way to the edges. Just like that. And then a nice little crisscross so it doesn't come all undone when we cut out our circle. All right, so we made our own background paper, but look how gorgeous this is. Now, I just want to show you, if you didn't want to cut out the circle part and do the standing card, and you're like, I just want to have a really cute beach paper, you could totally recreate this card, because here's our little guy, right? And so you could recreate the card like that. Super, super, super cute. You don't have to do the cutout in the middle. And that is an adorable card all in itself. So this is kind of a 4-in-1 card. Let's go with that. And then all you would need to do is just mat this on a background card. I've cut this down to be a little bit different. So when you're cutting your mats, and I will put all the dimensions down in the information. Actually, that nice big border of white looks really pretty. So look, just how cute that is. And then there's a ton of sentiment. I had feeling hot, but there's a really ton of cute sentiments. And look how cute that is. All right, so that could be your first card, just like this, just adding the layers with the little wavy bits. adorable. But we are going to do the next step. So the next step is we got to cut out the circle. Now, if you look closely on this, there is a bigger circle cut out of here. So I'm going to use a bigger circle die. And then there's a smaller circle cut out of a white sheet that's just below that. It's a matte below. And there goes my clock again because I keep forgetting to turn it off. And so I went around and I have a couple of different circle dies that I use. This one's from Maker's Movement, and I believe this one is from Sizzix that I had from a long time ago. I think it says Sizzix on here somewhere. Maybe, I don't know. And, you know, they're nesting dies. There's a lot of different sizes, but I found that I wanted them closer together, and neither one of these had the smaller die or the larger die that fits. So I just mixed and matched them. There's nothing wrong with that either. So you can totally do that. Plus I wanted one for this one when it was cut out, because we're sitting on the little inner tube. I wanted one that would still fit the inner tube and look kind of cute that way. So that's where that thought process came from. I know this has got stitching. We're not worrying about the stitching. So what we need to do now is we need to die cut out this circle. So let's get all of our other little bits out of the way. Pull out we're going to layer this on here. Now we're going to be keeping this circle because, again, just look how cool this is. Look how pretty this little circle looks. I mean, this would be awesome looking as like an ATC, but it works great on a card as well. So we're going to put that down, get our tape on here. And wherever you feel, so here's another thing. If you want, I want him definitely to be more in, like I had this guy floating a little bit into the sand. Oops. If you want your little guy floating more in the ocean, move it up. And I think we're going to add our sentiment this time right here. All right, so a little bit of tape right there. And then we're going to be doing a lot of die cutting at this next stage. So bring out the big guy again. There we go. And then we're going to cut that out. Now, we are cutting through, if you guys remember, we're cutting through 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. Up here, we're cutting through 4 layers of paper. And this particular die cut will do it. But I have to run it through like 3 or 4 times to really make sure it gets a good cut. So away we go. And it's going to be, it's a little thick. So we're going to kind of, I can dial up and dial down with this because it was having a really hard time trying to get through. So I can dial this up and I can get this through. I want it to be a tight squeeze because I want it to cut. I'm going to go back again. Yeah, I was talking with somebody who makes dies, and they said if you can't get it to cut, whatever it is you want to cut, with 3 to 4 passes, then the die is malfunctional. So it's like a test they run. And so they'll run it back and forth. And so let's see, did I get it? I got to do a little bit more and I'm running through, normally this says like 3 sheets of paper, and I'm running through 4 sheets of paper. So I'm going to go a little bit closer down. I got it to work last time. It was pretty squishy, but it worked. So as I'm running this through, it's just giving it even more stuff. And I'm kind of pushing the limits of what this particular die can do. And that's okay. Now I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom and really get it to cinch in there. Nothing wrong with pushing your products to the limit, right? So I had to go a little bit higher on my cutting because I did so many layers. All right, let's see how we're doing here. There we go. Now we're getting a little better. Still a little bit. There it goes. See, it's just that very, very last layer, which we'll go through a couple more times. I think we can get it there. It's trying hard. It's trying hard. It's just right here. I didn't have to do this many with the last one. Maybe I squished my die up a little bit. There we go. So regardless of where we're at, we're going to leave it be. And we're going to be doing some more die cutting. So I'm just going to kind of push this off back here real fast so you guys can see what we're doing. So we're going to pop this out. It pretty much did all of it. The other one I had to do like 4 or 5 times. But I had to build the front of the card for you. Okay, this is where the washi tape's going to want to stick because I ran it through so many times. It's like, oh, you really want me to stick to your paper now, and I don't want it to tear. There we go. Okay. So as you can tell, it got mostly through because the bottom part, there wasn't as many layers. So to make sure it goes through, and you might have a problem because a die is not meant to go through that many layers of paper. Just go in with your scissors and just follow your line. You can see where the line is where it's supposed to be cut. And sometimes it just needs a little bit of help. Like I'm barely pushing down. Sometimes it just kind of pulls through. You don't need much to get it to finish. There we go. Just keep on cutting. So you can always get it started and then just finish it by hand. So this is a kind of a fake out because some of you may not have a machine like I do that can cut and you can adjust it up and down. So this is the alternate way of doing it. There we go. Almost there. One last little, whoop, and there it is. And now it's out. And then I'm just going to kind of clean this up because I went in with the scissors and it's got a little bit of some little cobwebs. So one of the things I did different between the two cards, if you guys can see, is where I lined up my circle. So on this card, when I lined up the circle, I did it more in the blue, so we're not getting all the grades. This one, when I lined up my circle, I went all the way down into the craft paper, which is probably why this one cut easier, because I wasn't doing so much into the 4 layers. I was cutting more into just the 1 or 2 or 3 layers. But for this piece, I've got the really cool like gradation. We're going to play with that again later too. So kind of a cool little disc that you can create that's really fun. It's got lots of cool layers on it. Okay, so now we have this. It's time to actually build the card. So we got to do our mat. So I actually got to pull out another tool. There's lots of tools to this. We're done with the big circle. All right, so to build the base of your card, this is the size you need. Just put this piece off to the side because we're going to need that. There's lots of little elements here. So this is 9 inches by 5.5, and we need to score. And I will put all the measurements up there. Here's my measurements because I don't forget. So I'm going to take my scoring tool, which is my paper cutter. And the first score is we're going to do 2 1/8 right here. 2 1/8. And then you do 4 1/4. And again, I will put these all on down in the information section when we're done. I didn't get a chance to do before we started. I got to open up the bar here because we got to go even bigger. We got to go 6 3/8, which for me is right there. And whatever you want to use for scoring. I'm using my Maker Forte bone folder. It's really nice. And then the last one is 8.5. Again, I will have all these measurements for you guys when we're done. So you don't forget if you ever want to make this card. So there that is. That's the only scoring you need to do for this card. Okay, get that stuff out of the way. Put those pieces away. All right, now we're going to go back and we're really going to score all these. So when you're looking at the card, where's my finished one? There it is. You can kind of see it needs to have these score marks in order to open and do its thing, right? So it's got to have that little bit of bending in order to stay open as a standing piece. So score here and go back and forth on it. So it's got some good movement to it. Score here. And go back. And then score this piece right here. There's 4 pieces because we scored 4 times. So you're going to end up with 5 panels. I got to go back the other way. And then this little guy right here. There, it's easier that way. And this is a little flap that holds it together. That's why we had to go to 9 inches versus 8.5 inches for the size of our card. This turns into an A2 size card when it's all done. All right. So now we have all of our folds. If you're thinking about the way the card goes together, these 2 panels right here in the front, they're like the 2 center ones. That is the front of your card. The back side of your card is right here. Okay, so when you're thinking about where your front of your card is, it's that middle piece. So it's right there in the smack center, right? So you're going to open that up. You want to put your fold to your right. And then now we're going to start building the center. Now you don't have to put this centerpiece, but I like that little extra white in there. I think it just adds something. I think I personally enjoy it. You could totally get away with just putting this on here, but for me, it was like I was debating doing a white card. It was too matchy-matchy, too much. So I liked having that white piece. So we are also going to put a little piece of washi tape on here because we have to die cut out the circle to make our little peekaboo. So I got to find the hole to washi tape. Here we go. And actually, we're good. Never mind. We're just going to stick this down because we can. So this just sticks down right here like this. Just like that. Okay. So go ahead and stick those 2 together. I always like my Xyron, but whatever, you could use wet glue, you could use whatever you like. I like my Xyron, it makes life easy. I feel like I just a little bit crooked. I got a little room to groove before it sets in stone, so there. Okay, so now I needed to make this first because I need to make this circle make sense. So this is matted in there. So now you see kind of the building of the card, and I needed to make sure that I get my center piece this piece that we're going to cut down in the middle exactly in the right spot. If I didn't build this, I wouldn't know where my circle was. There is kind of steps to this, right? So now I'm going to move that out of the way. I just had the washi. Oh, there it is. Put my washi tape down, and I'm going to put it in the center of the circle because I'm keeping the outside, but I'm not keeping the center, right? And this is already stuck together. So now we got to die cut this, and then we're done with die cutting. Well, because I already did all the little guys. If you hadn't done your little pieces that go in the middle, then you wouldn't be done with die cutting yet. All right, last thing that we need to die cut. I know there's lots of stages to this, but it's a great use for getting to use your tools and your machines, which I think is fun. All right, so come back in here. Whoops, that was really loud. And roll this through. All right, now we can get rid of this machine. Bye-bye. And away it goes. And we're done with those. All right, so now, here we go. Pull this off. And we don't need this circle. If you wanted to keep these because you've got two nice, really good circles, you're more than welcome to. We're not in necessary need of that anymore. Then we have our piece that goes on top. Look at that. Very cool. And before we finish out, there's one more piece that we need to put in place, which is the little floaty bit. Because if you notice, this guy is kind of floating in midair, right? He's not attached to anything. How do we get that to float? So Maker's Movement has these really cool acetate sheets. You usually use them for shaker cards. It's the front of the shaker bits. It's the clear paper, whatever you want to call it. There's tons and tons of names. So I just cut a little piece that was 1 inch by 3.5 inches. And I'm just going to take off the front piece right there using my new little pokey tool I got from iCrafter. I love that. That's fun. It's retractable, which is the best part. All right. And then I'm not taking it off both sides yet because I want to make sure I remember which side I pulled the blue off. And then you're just going to remove that. The blue is just to protect it. We're not using it as something you're going to be seeing through. It's just helping create that hidden piece that you need. So, but the blue is to protect it. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and we're going to place this right in here like that. So it creates that little kind of fold. If you wanted to put in here first, so there's a couple of different ways you could have done it, but I think putting it in there is just fine. So we need my tape runner, which has vanished. Really fast, just before we get too involved, we are going to do a little foiling. If you guys can see, there's really pretty foiling on the inside. So I got to get my machine warmed up. So I'm just moving it over here because I got to put it on. And I'm turning it on and whoops, you can't see that. I'm turning it on and letting it warm up. So we're going to play with some little foil accents that go on the inside, but I got to get that thing warmed up. So I just had to put it over there to get it ready. Lots of little pieces of equipment in this particular card. All right, so put my adhesive right there and I'm going to go ahead and put it, oops, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Sorry about that. I'm going to put the adhesive everywhere else as well. So just line it all up, place this going across here. This is going to create, so we can do our floating part of our card. So even if you didn't want to do what we're doing and you just wanted to have like a little floaty piece, this is kind of a cool way to do that. And then place that right in there. And now you have something for your piece in the middle to stick. Now, what if you didn't want to do the cutie little bear on the floaty thing? You could put anything. You could put a butterfly in there, a dolphin in there. You could put a bird flying in there. You don't even have to go with the whole wave motif that I have here. You could do a completely cool different pattern paper and a different element in the center here. Sky's the limit on how you build this particular card, so you can have a ton of fun with that. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to heat up, because we're gonna end up heat setting these guys, we're gonna wait to do that part. We're gonna put our little bear guy together and it's gonna beep at me when it's ready. So I did purple there. So we're gonna do yellow here. And it also has little, let me pull off the little stamp here for you. So here we have our little bear, and then we have a couple of different sentiments that we're gonna be adding as well. There's also all the dies. What I didn't do, oops, and I totally can't, is it also comes, he has a thing to make a little floating drink. So you have your umbrella, your ice cubes, and then your little drinks. And that's what these pieces are. On the back of all of these, and again, I kind of copied the idea of the waves because they're so cute, but this is the, what the drink cup looks like. It's really stinking adorable. I love that. So these are the Lazy Days Stamp and Die Set. And again, links are all down below. So I did this piece right here, and then here's your little floaty, your circle floaty, your donut, whatever you want to call it. Oops, sorry. My husband was starting to call me, and then I think he realized, oh shoot, she's live. So he hung up real fast. So I'm just putting on, I tried to pick kind of neutral colors that would go well, that wouldn't be too crazy with what we're doing for the card. I really wanted the ocean part to stand out, so I didn't want to go too much on the card. All right, so now we have our little bear, and I'm going to have my bear do that this time. What do you think? I just went really easy colors on the bear. Nothing super crazy. A little bit of stuff on the back. You could definitely add the little floaty drink later if you wanted to. Play around with what colors you want for all those pieces. And then I just a little strip of adhesive going across here, and then your bear can float in the water. All right, that's still warming up. So while that piece is warming up, so this is almost done. Only thing we need to do now, and you could totally skip it. You could have your card look like this, and that would be totally fine. But what if you want to have a little bit of something fun on the inside? So you see that foil on the inside? That's what we're going to do now. So keep in mind, this, when you fold it, turns into the back of the card. So we have to put the pieces here if you want to have a little hidden something inside. If you don't want to have anything inside, look how adorable that card is just right now. Super cute. There's nothing wrong with that. Add a little sentiment, which we'll do in a minute. But we're going to have some fun with foiling. So I got these pieces of paper came, if you guys saw my unboxing yesterday, my friend Laura Kelly just launched her new line of foil papers. So these are these toner sheets. So they work with foil, and she gave me a couple of colors, but I really wanted blue. And Xyron, who we're using their machine, they do have their own transfer foil, and you can use whatever foil that goes together. So if you want to use, Xyron transfer foil with ThermoWeb's papers, it all works. Hi, Heather. So I already have this one open, and I just love the blue colors. I thought it kind of fit within the vibe of the colors. Oh, there it beeps. It means it's ready. So we're going to cut our foil. If I can find my scissors, there they are. So we're going to cut our foil. I love this. It makes it so pretty. You could even do this as a background. I debated making this the background instead of the different fun layers of waves, but I was like, nah, we're going to do it on the inside. Then you need, it's sticking to everything. This is just a cover sheet to make sure everything is good. How the foil works. Excuse me. There's two. There's always two or three. There's never just one. You place your image. This is what's so easy. Most of the times, whenever you're doing anything with foiling, you have to have something that's sort of adhesive or sticky, or you print it off on a laser printer. These papers are already set that you don't have to worry about that. So all you have to do is cut it, do whatever you want, stick the foil on top. So here is our pretty foil, color side up, and then you place this right here. And then my machine is on. It beeped at me. I heard it go beep, beep. And then it's got a little rolly system. There's different grades. This one actually can do cold laminate. Really see this. You can do cold laminate, heat laminate, or foil. And that's what we wanted. We wanted the hottest setting, which is foil. And it just runs it through. And then just grabs it. And it goes. It's so stinking easy. Thank you so much, Karen. I get the sneezies. So I'm just going to push that off because that's going to take a few minutes. And we are going to continue building our card while that's doing that. So I already mentioned the inside pieces is where the foil is going to go. But on the back side, you can put your sentiments. So for this particular card, our back side is going to be right here. So I've already cut out 2 sheets of paper. They're going to end up filling in the back. And it's going to cover up that seam that's there. So you won't see that seam. So it's going to look like that. Oh, it's almost ready. Look at that. So I'm going to put a stamp on here while we're letting that go. And I think we're going to do time to bask. That's bask. Time to bash in the sunlight. It wasn't going to work. Bask in the sunlight. And my stamp's not going to fit this way. So we're going to just turn it the other way. Why not? So little stamp on one piece. If I can find my ink now, which is right here. There we go. If you guys notice, I cleaned my stamp block. It got cleaned. And there. So there's nothing that says you have to have your stamp be the same direction as the card. It's the back side. Nobody's going to see anything. All right. This is done. turn my machine off, and I'm just going to put that off screen so you guys don't see it. And ready for the magic? This thing's so cool. I love it when I do the big reveal. There we go. So pull it out of here, and you can reuse this piece over and over and over and over. There's nothing wrong with using that. And then, ready? Look how cool. Isn't that the coolest? I absolutely love that. It's all shiny and pretty. It's so awesome. So now we're going to put that. And for this card, I just did straight lines. I would have loved to use all of this paper, but I didn't have, I only had one sheet and I couldn't get enough pieces out of it. So that's what it is. So they're going to go on the inside here because this is the inside little bits. And so it's just a little hint of something. It's not like crazy, crazy, crazy foil. It's just a little smidgen of it. Look how cool that is. I love the shininess on it. So fun. And, you know, sometimes I love foil, but I don't want it to be, it's not straight. So I'm fixing it, screwing it up. So sometimes I want foil, but I don't want it to be like, oh my God, in my face. So I feel like this is kind of my way of seeing the foil and seeing something, but it's not crazy amounts of it. And I didn't even have to do the full panel, but it just made it easy to do the full panel. And then you just see that little hidden bit. And if the card's standing up, you can kind of see it from the top. All right, so how do you close the card? Really simple. Adhesive right here on this panel, close this flap, and just rub right along there. And that is how you close up the card. And then you can kind of play with it. So you got to kind of get it to open. And then eventually it starts saying, oh, it's open. But you can also make it flat so it can stay flat and it can get mailed in the mail. So then we're just going to add our 2 white panels. So this is one that you stamp, and then the other one you can write on. And these pieces go right here like that. And then you're going to cover up your seam. I don't know why I flip over a blank sheet of white paper where you cannot see the other side. I'm silly. So therefore, there's your back side, however you want to put your sentiments on there. And then the card stands like that, just like that. And you got your little floaty guys in there. So little guy's floating in the ocean. There he is. And so now we can do a little sentiment here. It's the same thing. I'm just going to do, it has a little feeling hot. I would just pretend it's the other way around, and I would put it coming from this side, or I could do it from this side. So you can add a little sentiment to the bottom of the card as well. Okay, now the other 2 cards from the leftovers. Super simple. So these are the 2 cards we just created. Now, if you remember, well, the 1 card and the prototype. If you remember, when we cut out all of these bits here, okay, so this is from the bottom part of when we cut this. We have this piece. We had, and I'm going to go this way because they're all, I tore the paper there. So just turn it the other way around. We had that piece and we have this piece, and it still looks absolutely gorgeous, right? So glue these together. And then all I did was I put it against another darker sheet of paper. So here was one that came from this guy right here. And so just imagine, glue these together, put it on another darker color. So this is a 4th shade if you want to go even darker. So it looks like you're going even to the deeper ocean, right? And then I just put it on a craft and then on white cardstock. And look how pretty that is. That is so cute. So now just imagine, have a shark. This is a background paper. You could take the same bear and have him floating in the deep ocean, right? So that is another version of the card. So the first version is make the background, stick the bear. Second version, I love turquoise. I do love turquoise. I love all shades, teal and turquoise. That's just my thing. I tell you what, I gravitate to those colors every day. So the first one would be like this with the beach. The second one is take the remnants, go that way and go for a darker shade. So it's 2 cards in one. You make one little piece and then you can create a second card. The third card, so just look at that cool background. It's awesome. The third card is your circle. So this is the circle that got die cut out of here, right? This is the circle that got die cut out of there. And so you can take it and just put the circle on a white card, just like this. And then you can really have a cute card. I almost wouldn't want to put the bear because it covers too much and just leave that almost like plain. But look how pretty this looks on here. Like I want to kind of put this in this like up here and maybe like a little banner and do a stamp. So I'm going to stamp it right on there because I can. So it's really pretty. I almost want to add a backing to that. I haven't, like, I was playing around with this and I know I want to put a stamp at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and stamp this at the bottom. And then I'm thinking I just want to leave it as a pretty design. I don't know. What would you guys put in there? I mean, it looks so cool. I don't like the bear in this one because it's too small. I almost just want like a little bird or something flying, or just like a little, like it's too pretty to put a big giant object on top. When we have the entire background and you're looking at a bigger background, it looks cool. But when you have such a small space, I don't want to do. So nothing better than a lazy day. I don't even know if that fits. I think I'm going to do the bask in the sunlight one. I like that one better. Changing my mind. So these are just like on the whim as I was building that. I was like, oh, look how cool I can make more cards out of that. So time to bask in the sunlight. And then that's there. And then, I don't know, some bird. Hang on. Let's see if we can cut a bird. That's a really big sheet of black paper for me to cut a tiny bird out of. Okay, that's a better size paper for me to cut a bird out of. Sunday and a bird. See, yeah, something like that. But I don't have a bird handy. So, little tiny piece. See if I can do this. I'm totally winging it, guys. Winging it. I think white would have looked better, but you'll get the idea. I'm going to play with it and I'm going to finish it and I probably will post this on my Instagram, or it'll be on the thumbnail when it's all said and done. But just like a little bird. It's not a great bird, but you get the idea. A bird. Ah, there's a bird die. There we go. I might have to pull that guy out. I don't have it handy right this second, but you get the idea. Oh man, I got black on there. Fudgers. Fudgeroonies. Did I not fit? Oh, I did. I'm like, did I not finish this card? And I realized I'd stuck the circle on there. Oh my goodness. So there, that guy can go there. Oh, and I still have the pieces that go with that. That can go there like that. So I'll finish that later. You guys know how that builds. It's the same. There we go. And then another little sentiment on this one. But somehow I feel like I want to change this one up and just make it look very simple and very clean looking. And a couple of, I think black birds would look really cute there. I just need to find, again, the right die, which I will then go in there. I don't know if I want to add the sun. But you know, it's totally up to you how you would want to put that together and how you want to arrange that. But I just think they're kind of cool how you can build one card, which is a really cool card within all itself, because you know it stands up on itself and it does its thing. So here they are, really fun, right? And the little foil on the inside that just kind of makes it sparkle and shine. Thank you, Laura, for reminding me about the coolness of foil, because look how cool it is. It's shiny in there. And then we got our cutie little bears floating. But then from the leftover bits, you can create a couple of other cards. So really cool, lots of fun. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I got to find my mouse. Okay. So all supply links are down in the information section. I have an announcement to make because it's a really cool event. So I got to pull over my stuff real fast. And thank you everybody for leaving comments. I truly appreciate it. Now, two of the companies I was working with today was Makers Movement and Xyron. And they are part of a wonderful, wonderful collaboration. So here it is. It's the Get Creative giveaway. So Xyron and Makers Movement, but I also work with Kuhn & Felt, and you guys know Lawn Fawn, and Kingston Crafts is a brand new company that has been launched by Beth Kingston. She is amazing and awesome. So they have a wonderful, wonderful giveaway. The link is down in the information section for you to go in, and today is the last day. You have until midnight Eastern. So go now. As soon as you're done watching me, go. The link is down in the information section. Click on that. It's for you to enter. And there is prizes. Like for instance, Kuhn & Felt is giving a $100 gift certificate to Joann's. How cool is that? The machine you saw, that machine that you can dial up and dial down, that is the giveaway from Makers Movement. So if you want that machine, go and put your name in. There's all the information about what are the prizes and what you can win is on the site. Click the link and you can enter. It ends tonight. But you saw me using some of the products here today, which was Xyron and also Maker's Movement. And their products are fabulous. If you've never used them, they are super, super wonderful. And you saw the range of different products. So Xyron was the adhesive I was using, the foil, and the foil laminator. So those are all Xyron, along with, you guys have always seen me use my like sticker makers and stuff. They're fabulous. And the glue guns that I use as well, or the glue, hot glue. I can't use the G word because it'll cut me off. And then also Maker's Movement, the amazing die machine, not to mention, they also, you guys see me using this little guy all the time too, my mini maker. That is also from Maker's Movement. And then a lot of the stamps and dies that I've been using, all the stamps and dies I use today are from Maker's Movement as well. And then I've been doing lots of videos also with Maker's Movement products. So check out that link, head on over, see if you can win. It is a really, really cool, awesome thing. So thank you guys so much. Really fast, let's just zip on back over again. Look how adorable they are. I got to finish this guy. I got to find that die. So I'm going to head on over and finish that. And I got to finish this guy up, which is just another little sentiment down there. And I got to put my sentiment on this one as well. Finish up. Probably just the feeling hot. This one I probably could get away with the time to bask in the sunlight on the front. I bet I have room to put that on there. So, hey, Shirley, you made it. So, other fun announcement, I got merch. So I went through and I went to Teespring. This is the standard tee in black, and I designed the Just Create. So if you're interested in any of the shirts, they have tons of different styles for t-shirts. I actually got 3 personally just to see how they would fit. So this is just your standard blasted, I cannot talk. Standard classic tee from Fruit of the Loom. It's your normal fit. I also got a slouchy tee, and you can change up the color. If you don't want to do black, but you want to do white, you want to do all your different fun ones. They all have the words Just to Create. And then guess what color? Shocker. But you can pick different colors for the backgrounds of your shirts. I also have some that are on there that have my logo on there as a small little emblem or a larger logo. So if you're interested in those, it's on my YouTube channel. Check down below. You can see that there's a merch, and there's a few that are a sampling. And if you want to hop on over, and then I'll probably be designing a few more things that you guys can put on shirts and mugs and other fun things down the line. So cool stuff. If you want a cool shirt, I love it. I love my shirts. And I also love to tell people, just go out there and create. Don't get bogged down with what do I do, or how do I create it, or it's not going to look good, or I don't know where to start. Just sit down, pull out your stuff, and just start creating. I think we all get stuck in our head way too much that we don't put the time in just getting out there and just playing. Sometimes just getting out there and looking at the pretty papers, or just coloring something or stamping something, or just, running a couple of die cuts and see what happens. You never know. The 2 cards, just to switch back, these 2 cards were not planned. Not until I started building these ones and thought, ooh, that would look cool. And that's where I went with that. Ooh, a sea star. That would look cool too. See, you guys are amazing. I love all your little ideas. So amazing. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget out there to just create. Supply links are all down there at the bottom, and I will see you guys again later. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Evening. I think we're in evening now.